talk to me about Shohei Ohtani because he was the talk of the town, every town pretty much, the country, this entire season. First $500 million player, first $600 million player. What is this injury? I know you were kind of talking about how you have some cards of him. What is this injury going to do for his market, do you think? Short term, a couple months, long term, let's say, this time next year.
Well, right now he's dealing with two separate injuries. His oblique and his UCL. How old is he now? Like 30, 31, something like that?
I will get back to, I think he's younger. He's like 29.
But
29, yeah.
29. So it's crazy to think like he's just entering his prime.
Really?
I think so. That's a prime years.
So I mean, I look at like prime. I mean, because players are so good, so young nowadays. Like 24, I think is a prime years for a player. Just because like you see Soto get called up, he's like 20. You see J-Rod 21, Ellie 21. It's just like those are young. I'm not going to call those prime years, but like if Shohei was just a pitcher at 29, teams ain't giving him a 10-year contract. They're going to probably give him like a 4 or 5-year contract because once you get over 30, it's tough sledding. I mean, running backs. I mean, again, I know I'm not going to cross sports. Outfielders, once they turn 30, like that Mookie Betts contract, like that might bite the Dodgers in the ass in a few years. Aaron Judge signed that big deal at 30. Again, that could bite them in the ass in a couple of years. Bryce Harper's already at first base. I mean, granted, he had a Tommy John, but like he's already at first base and he's like 32. So, but continue, carry on.
But I still think Ohtani gets a huge, insane contract. Like, will it be the first 500 million, or is there someone else? No, it can't be. It can't be
highest MLB contract.
Because everyone on the Braves is locked up for dirt cheap. So
Mike Trout still $426.5 million for 12 years.
Oh, he'll
blow that away.
Yeah, he'll blow that away. He's getting at least 550, I think. Because that's the thing.
So
with this market now, to get Ohtani, the pitcher, would be 35 to 40 million a year. To get Ohtani, the hitter, would be another 30 million a year if they were separate players.
Yeah.
So if you can get both of those in one person, there's no reason why he shouldn't be making at least 55 a year.
So but do you have concerns that he's more than likely approaching a second Tommy John surgery? Like as like a GM, as an owner, you have to be weary about that. And again, if he was just a pitcher, if he was just a hitter, pay him $40 million. Who cares? If he was without injury, I would completely agree. The oblique is fine, but the elbow, he might miss all of next season if he gets the surgery again. So it's like you sign him for 10 years and you're not even going to get him for 10 years. Now, if he was to become, or if he was a closer, or let's say if he was to become a closer, I think that's a different story. But like this injury thing really throws a wrench into it because I still think he gets paid. I still think he gets a long-term contract. But like, it has to be on the back of these teams' minds because all right, we signed him for 10 years for $600 million, whatever. Are we really getting Shohei Ohtani? What is he going to look like at 35, 36? Is that elbow going to be gone again? Is he going to be in the bullpen? Is he not even going to pitch? Like, I think as fascinating as the two-way player is, it just brings so many question marks because if you were just getting the hitter, all right, you hit 4 times a game, that's all we have to worry about. If you're just getting a pitcher, you pitch every 5 days, and that's all we have to worry about. I just think there's so much. I mean, could the oblique thing be from pitching all season? Obviously, the elbow is. Will he even be the same pitcher if he gets Tommy John? If he doesn't get Tommy John, will he need it, down the road where he's already had it before? It's going to be really, his market's going to be really, really interesting because I think what the teams do will dictate what the hobby does. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
It's just it's really, really puzzling because all these teams spent all this money this past offseason.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Mets, the Padres, the Rangers, obviously, and the Rangers are fighting for a playoff spot, but like, well, how far will they go? I mean, neither here nor there. But like the Mets and the Padres, probably the two biggest teams that spent a lot of money. They're not even going to be. They're not even sniffing the playoffs. I believe they're mathematically eliminated from even wild card contention. It's like so it brings the question: is spending money the way to go in MLB? You look at the Rays, you look at the Orioles, spending nothing with young players and just some gritty, cheap veterans. You look at teams like the West. Why can't I think of the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers spend money, but they were struggling for a long time. But you look at a team like the Diamondbacks, young team, some gritty veterans, and they're fighting for a spot. The Reds, a bunch of young players fighting for a spot. So it's like, I think teams in general, not including Ohtani and not including Ohtani, I guess, in the same breath, will think twice about spending a lot of money. Look at the Yankees, spent a ton of money, and they're probably not going to make the playoffs. Well, they're not going to. But like, is that the way to go, though? And when you have that piece of it, plus the Ohtani with injuries and such like that, it's going to be very stressful for a GM or for whoever's going to end up making it, whatever owner maybe makes that decision.
So here's the thing about Ohtani. When you sign whatever team signs him, they're getting the pitcher, the hitter, but they're also getting him in his market. Like that man
Fans,
is worldwide
yeah,
famous. Even if you
agreed.
just have him on your roster, granted the Angels have him on his roster and they probably don't fill up the stadium, but whatever team signs him next year will more than likely fill the stadium if they're even decent. Just to
If they're
see
like
Ohtani.
Angels, yeah, they'll fill the stadium.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're putting all this money into him, he's still going to be a great player post surgery. I truly believe that. But you're also just getting him. Like he is, for lack of a better word, a god to some people.
I think the teams, whichever team may sign him, is investing in not only Ohtani, but they're investing in their team because they're gonna, not to be like racist or anything, but a lot of those fans are going to be Japanese players to fill those seats because of Ohtani, and I think he probably stays on the West Coast. I mean, I know there's like New York, Boston, the Mets. I don't think he goes over there just because being on the West Coast, a flight from Tokyo, from Japan is a lot closer to California than it is to New York or Boston. So I think instead of the whole, I mean, if a team just offers him something really stupid like 700 million, which I don't think so, then he goes there. But like if every team offers him the same contract, he's going to pick a team on the West Coast. Personal opinion. And they're investing, and yeah, they're paying a lot of money with some question marks, maybe, whether that's age, injury, elbow, performance, whatever. But again, they're going to be filling a lot of seats. They're going to be selling a lot of jerseys. But like, we don't have to make that decision as hobbyists, as collectors. We don't have to make that decision about how much to give him. We just have to buy his cards. We just have to sell his cards. But
Quick.
yeah.
What team do you think? What team signs Ohtani?
So I already narrowed it down to a West Coast team. Obviously, it's not the Angels, even though they'll make an attempt. I don't think it'll be the Padres because they have so much money invested already, whether it's Machado, Bogarts. I think they I think they will re-sign Soto. I like the Mariners. I think they're a sneaky play. I know people saying the Giants, which I could see, but I don't think it's the Dodgers. I think they just have too much money tied up elsewhere too. I'm gonna go Mariners. I don't know. Mariners are at least good. I think Ohtani's has to look at that. Like, all right, I want to play in the playoffs. Giants, yeah, they're in and out. I know they're battling, but like, I guess the Mariners are too. I'm gonna go Mariners. Final answer, Mariners. Especially,
that's
crap,
also my answer.
The DH thing doesn't matter. Oh, crap, I was gonna say, they're an American League team, the DH. But well, funny. I guess side thing. When he first was coming over, I'm shocked he picked the Angels because at the time, National League didn't have the DH, so like the Angels had to like makeshift like rule changes or whatever for him to pitch and then DH and whatever. Whereas in the National League at the time, you could just have Ohtani on the bump and you could just have him hitting wherever you want because in the National League, pitchers hit until a couple of years ago. So Whatever, doesn't matter now.
Ohtani played outfield when he
First
didn't he
came over,
play
yeah, he
outfield
was
when
like
he first
a
got
right
here?
fielder or
Yeah.
whatever. So like, I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
Does like, I mean, that's something to consider. Does he drop the pitching thing because of the elbow, and does he play the outfield? Because if you're just signing a designated hitter for $500 million, I think any and every team's out of their mind. But if you get him to play the outfield every once in a while, again, maybe be a relief pitcher, or I don't know. I'm happy I don't have to make this decision. But
I,
as
I
a
think
collector, go ahead.
I think any team that signs him will take better care of him than the Angels.
I just it blows my mind that the Angels didn't trade him. I know you weren't going to get full value if you traded him like a year ago or in the offseason, like the Red Sox should have done with Bogart. So if you were not going to re-sign him, just trade him at that point. At the deadline, I mean, the Orioles got something for Machado, who ended up walking from the Dodgers the year he got traded. Get something for him. Meanwhile, they sell off other pieces just to DFA Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez, and now they don't even play for him after a month. Whatever. I'm going on a tangent.
So bad. So bad.
Oh my God. What was I thinking? Or what was I saying?
What were they?
What were they? Who effing knows? Again, I'm glad I'm not making these decisions, especially decisions for the Angels, LA Angels, Anaheim Angels, California, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, does this injury, because I'm hearing a lot of quietness around here on the Ohtani front. Is it because of the injuries? Because they suck? Do we have to wait for him to sign a contract? Do we have to wait for him to play again to see if he's healthy? If you're buying Ohtani cards, how do you approach it? Because me personally, I don't know. There's just way too many question marks. Way too
many. Ohtani, he'll be fine. Him and his market will be fine.
Do I buy strong? Do I pay close to market? Do I pay 90%? Do I wait
right
and hold?
Right now,
within the next couple months.
I'm saying right now is when you should buy Ohtani.
Right now,
when no one's focusing on him right now, everyone's focused on the playoff race. His cards are down a significant amount right now, just because no one's talking about him. Whatever, but he will be MVP.
Think so?
He will. Yes, he will get his contract. So once that time of the year comes around, the hype's going to be building up again. Oh, can't wait to see him in this lineup. What's he going to do here? Whatever. So if you're going to buy Ohtani, understanding it's not a quick blip, then now is the time to get it.
But I want to buy today and sell today. I want to make that money today.